I was a porn star, I was a stripper, I was a prostitute, but before all of that, I was a little girl.
70% of 18 to 24-year-old men visit pornographic sites in a typical month. And the truth is going to set you free.
I got out of the industry in 2007.
I got out in 2008 and I never looked back.
We're here for you and we really care about you. You shall know the truth, and the truth is going to set you free, because we're going to tell you the truth today, because God is good and He has a plan. He knows you've been ensnared by the porn industry. The porn industry knows exactly what it's doing. I'm going to repeat this again. They actually monitor the habits of porn users, and they're very savvy and have high technology to do this. Whatever you click on, they're recording that. They want to know what you like. They want to know what you want. So then they take that and they go back to the porn set and they make those demands on the women, because they understand that your addiction is progressing. What turns you on in the beginning, the vanilla sex, doesn't turn you on a month later. Now you want the harder sex, the bestiality, the group sex, or the gangbangs. Hey, I'm real. And so they record that behavior, and that demand comes down on the woman. But, like I said, you're going to hear the truth today. I'm an ex-porn star, so I'm going to tell you the truth. And then I've got a whole group of ex-porn stars here today. Now there's like 7 of us here now, or 8? 8 of us? We have 8 ex-porn stars here today. And the panel after lunch, make sure you come back, because we're actually going to sit down and we're going to have a nice little chat about porn. So now I want to talk about the truth about porn. I want to actually talk about the porn industry background, kind of how the porn industry was formed. Porn has always been around, but porn actually got started by the gay porn industry. Does anybody know that? I don't think so, huh? And it's really interesting to note that porn got really, in the late 1970s, they were making gay porn in New York, San Francisco, and LA. And at the exact time they were making that porn, AIDS came out in those exact cities. I am serious. I have this research. I can show you. You can go on Wikipedia and read AIDS. Go on wikipedia.org and type in AIDS, and it will show you how it started in New York first, San Francisco, and then Los Angeles, where all of the gay porn was starting. Coincidence? But the mainstream porn industry caught on and said, hey, we want to make a buck too, you know. So in Los Angeles, there was a guy named Freeman, and he was filming, and California wanted to get him on prostitution. Back then it was considered prostitution. So it was called a case called People versus Freeman in 1988. And what happened was, the California prosecutor says that's prostitution, and tried to go after him, but he said, no, they're not actually getting paid to have sex with each other. They're getting paid for us to watch the sex. And there was no advocate, because I tell you, girls, if the ex-porn stars had been around then, there would be no porn. But there was nobody who would stand up at that time and really be able to say, no, we will not allow this. So it was legalized in California by case law, which is not legislation. California has never said, we now legalize porn. That has never happened. In fact, porn production is only legal in 2 states. California, and what other state? Don't tell. Does anybody else know in here? What other state? All right, anybody? Nobody knows, huh? This is ridiculous, but New Hampshire? Okay, so porn is legal to produce in California and New Hampshire. I guess New Hampshire needs some serious tax money. I don't know, but Los Angeles County, which is actually Chatsworth, California, which is about 1.5 hours south from here, is the world's largest porn capital that produces 85% of adult content. Yep, all the porn stars pretty much live in LA, or they'll fly to LA, but the majority of the porn workers and the porn stars actually live in the Los Angeles area, or to get more exact, the San Fernando Valley, which we call Porn Valley. That's what we call it. The porn industry has an estimated gross revenue from 11,000 films annually as high as $13 billion. That revenue exceeds the combined revenues of ABC, CBS, and NBC. In Los Angeles County, in that San Fernando Valley area, there's approximately 200 porn production companies. There's an estimated 5 to 10 large companies, and they make 40% of the films. Approximately 5 major film distributors. There are 6,000 workers, 1,200 to 1,500 actual porn performers. 75% of those porn performers are female. And there's only about 30 to 100 regular male performers, which we call poles. Porn is not about the men. Porn is about women being assaulted by these 30 to 100 regular poles. That's what porn stars call the guys. They call us whores, and we call them poles. That's how loveless this industry is. Many female performers who are lured in through social media like Facebook, MySpace, 18, 19, even 17-year-old girls, and even younger, are lured in by the porn industry, making them promises, oh, you're so hot, you're so pretty, we just need a calendar model or just some bikini modeling, or we'll fly you to LA for some just nude modeling, and they get there and it's a nasty hotel with about 5 guys, and you know, they give them drugs and alcohol and they get raped and they make a porn movie out of that. So most female performers make only 1 film because they're so horrified, and they come to Pink Cross and say, please help me, I've made 1 film. But it's all over the internet. They're sending it to my cousins, to my parents, to my grandma. If there's anyone who's interested in making porn or entering the industry, listen to me now. Once you do that, once you even believe these people, your porn is on the internet forever. That's it. Even me, I was in porn in the 1990s. And I could swear that God had totally erased it. I was like, oh, praise God. He erased all the porn. You know, I'm done with that lifestyle. In the 90s, there was really not an internet. Well, they managed to find ways to get a hold of that film and put it back up. But praise God, God promised me anyone who views my porn is getting zapped by the Holy Spirit. And if you view any of the other girls' porn that is with Pink Cross, you're getting triple zapped. So I wouldn't do that for you. That could be dangerous. Actually, one guy goes, oh, I love you, I love you. And I'm like, dude, it's been like, 12 years, right? I'm not even that girl. He goes, no, I'm going to go back tonight and watch it. I'm like, I wouldn't do that for you. That could really, really, really hurt you. He writes me back, he goes, I have not been able to sleep for a week. Nightmares, horrible. I'm so tormented. I'm like, thank you. Papa's so good to me. Now I want to talk to you a little bit about sex trafficking laws in the United States. A lot of people don't understand that pornography really is sex trafficking. They're like, what? These girls make a choice. Women enjoy it. I'm like, okay, let's define sex trafficking by the law. The United States Code for, it's the 18 title, section 1591, says that sex trafficking is defined by U.S. federal laws as recruiting, enticing, harboring, transporting, providing, or obtaining either an adult for the commercial sex by force, fraud, or coercion. I'm looking at the ex-porn stars. Or a child for commercial sex regardless of the means. Another definition of the Trafficking Victims Protection Act of 2000, TPVA, defined trafficking in persons as sex trafficking in which a commercial sex act is induced by force, fraud, or coercion, or in which the person induced to perform such act has not attained 18 years of age. So basically, any woman who's recruited by force, fraud, or coercion for the purposes of a commercial sex act is a sex trafficking victim. Let me tell you about trafficking in porn. I want to actually give examples of it because I want people to understand that every time you click on porn, you are contributing to sex trafficking of women, even young women and minors. Trafficking in porn, examples of force and threats of force are beating, slapping, and punching, which we see often in very many porn movies. Forcing a woman to perform sex acts she has not agreed to, or restraining a head of the woman during oral sex until she vomits. Rape and gang rape, for example, hardcore sex acts performed on a woman without her permission. Fraud. Fraudulent offers of employment or false promises of money and fame. For example, you'll be the next hottest porn star. You're going to make so much money. If you'll just do this, you can even make a little extra. Deceitful, enticing. For example, a porn producer's overly affectionate to a woman to entice her to do a hardcore sex act. Come here, sit on daddy's lap. You're such a pretty girl. Look at those pretty hips. Do you know how many times we sat on their laps because our own dads didn't do that? I loved it. Bobby Hollander is a really famous porn producer. He was the best dad I ever had. He literally would say, "You have the beautiful hips. You have beautiful hips. Come here, sit on my lap. We're going to get you a good movie and take care of you." I'm like, wow, he loves me. I'm special. He acknowledged me. These girls make porn because they want attention and they want the money. And the porn industry provides both. Another fraudulent action of the porn industry is lying about work conditions and risk of STDs. Do I hear an amen over there? That's from the ex-porn stars. Here's the lie. We test every 30 days for STDs, and we're the cleanest people in the world. Okay, so you test on Monday, and you're clear, but then on Tuesday and Wednesday, you go out and have unprotected sex with all kinds of people, and then you can infect us again. So there's no way that any test that any porn star does in porn is valid. Impossible. We have all prostituted ourselves because we actually don't like making porn because you're literally on the set 4 to 8 hours with like disgusting men and foul and body smells and bodily fluids. When I can, that night I can go out and do a prostitution act for $2,500 an hour because I'm a porn star, and at least I get a dinner, and for the right price, you know, you don't have to use a condom. You can go all over the internet and find, I love it, these porn star escort sites. We're just escorts. I'm like, dude, you know, I was there, okay? You know what I'm saying? Please don't lie to me. Tell the porn stars, please do me a favor. Don't insult my intelligence. I was there. It's all BS. I know for a fact what you guys are doing. And for the right amount of money, you know, I was flown all over United States to sleep with producers or to sleep with people who saw my porn. So like my porn producer, I'm trying not to say their names. It's really hard for me. I'm like, he's like, hey, Roxy, that was my porn name. Hey, Roxy, you're going to make a lot of money now if you just go fly like to New York or fly to Arizona. And there's like this rich lawyer guy there. It's in my book. My book tells a little bit more who it is, and you're going to make all this money for the weekend. When I got there, we did meth for like 2 days. We were so high. The guy wanted to go all day and all weekend long, and we did not use a condom. And then I went back to work as if I was a good, careful porn star, and I infected other people. So we all do that. There's no one you can trust in the porn industry. And you'll hear more, like I said, after lunch from other ex-porn stars to know that We were trained to lie to you. That was our income. Also, sending women to fraudulent clinics for medical care. AIM, Adult Industry Medical Healthcare Foundation, is the porn star clinic that we closed down. So it's closed down now, but it was since 1998. A former porn actress, Sharon Mitchell, had gone to a sexology institute in San Francisco. It's not accredited, to get her doctorate degree in like sexology. I think she took one class on AIDS. I looked up her curriculum. And so she came back and said, I want to start the porn star clinic that the pornographers, of course, funded. And she would take care of all the girls wearing a white lab coat, and the girls would call her doctor. So all these new girls are like, Dr. Sharon Mitchell, Dr. Mitchell. They assume that she's a medical doctor, because she's going, oh, no, you're going to be okay. Here, you just need to take this test, and we'll test you here, and you'll be okay. And here's how to do a sex act. And don't worry, we keep the adult entertainment industry safe. And I actually put a video on because I want you to hear what the porn star doctor makes promises to very young girls in porn.
My name is Dr. Sharon Mitchell. I was in the adult entertainment industry 25 years as an actress, dancer, producer, director, and then I got my doctorate, and I founded the Adult Industry Medical Healthcare Foundation in 1998. And since then, we have done over 250,000 HIV tests. We're the largest early detection HIV testing facility in the country, and we keep the adult entertainment industry safe.
And I think ex-porn stars, how many of you have gone to AIM to get your care? All of us? Jenny, raise your hand. All of us has gone there and believe the baloney that we would be kept safe. And we were given a Porn 101 package that basically taught us how to perform sex acts by the doctor. So anyways, 1998, she started this, and the health department wouldn't help her because it was just a big lie. And then the board of directors is like Nina Hartley, it's all pornographers or porn stars. I'm like, so they would test every 30 days. In my day, you only tested for HIV. That was in the 1990s. Now, for porn stars, they only test for chlamydia, gonorrhea, and HIV. What about HPV? What about herpes? Belladonna, very famous porn star, she has herpes. Now, the past 5 years, she goes, 99% of porn stars have herpes, duh. So, and then Rocco Siffredi, another very famous male porn star, says, well, of course everyone in porn has herpes, which is a non-curable disease. 99% of porn stars have herpes. And then the own doctor, the ding-a-ling, says 66%, at least 66% of porn stars have herpes. I'm like, well, why don't you guys test for herpes? Well, of course the porn industry isn't going to do that, because every time they test, they have to send that test result to the Los Angeles Department of Public Health, who also wrote, in fact, I'm going to go over that right now. It was really cool. We've been testifying since 2008 before like California State Capitol, LA City Council, Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors. And it was really cool. We testified, and this, you can find this video on my YouTube as well. And we testified, and Yaroslavsky, the chairman, he's like, what did that blonde woman say? It was really cool. I was like, it was like I was before Kings, please, and you only get like 2 minutes to give your spiel. And he goes, I will get you a health report on the porn industry in 2 weeks. And I was like, and they actually sent it to me first. It was really cool. I was like, so cool. So I have that, and I'll just kind of give you a few of the stats from the health department. They actually made it themselves. Well, I know them by heart, I'll just say it. They actually reported that since 2003, the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health has been monitoring the adult film industry. They call it adult film, but there's nothing adult about porn, for the sake of their language. But there was reported 1,389 cases of gonorrhea, 2,396 cases of chlamydia, 26 cases of unpublished publicized cases of HIV. Think about that. Oh, no, it's civilians that came to our clinic. I'm like, we all know that AIM is the porn star clinic, okay? That is among porn stars. Of course, the porn industry doesn't want you to know that HIV is rampant. No way. And then all that chlamydia and gonorrhea, and then the County Department of Public Health reported that porn stars are 10 times more likely to have chlamydia and gonorrhea than the worst population in Los Angeles County between 20 and 24-year-olds. That's how many STDs they have in porn. Rampant. And I know because probably almost everyone at this table has caught something. We all raise our hands. Jenny's caught something. Jan raised her hand. I caught herpes, a non-curable disease, and HPV, human papillomavirus. Say that 10 times in a row. Human papillomavirus, which led to me having early cervical cancer. And I had to have half of my cervix removed. Couldn't have any more babies after that. I just thank God that He was so merciful with me and let me at least have a couple babies. I'm 44 and I still struggle with the secondary negative effects from working in the pornography industry. I've had to have several uterine ablations. My doctor wants to do his hysterectomy. I'm like, nah, we'll wait till it falls out or something, whatever. I'm not doing that. That sounds painful. Don't cut anything out of my body. And I'm like, I've hemorrhaged. I've had anemia. I've gone through so much. And I tell the girls, listen, I'm 44, and although the Lord Jesus Christ has done so much to heal my life, He has allowed some scars to remember where I came from, and so I could warn others that if you're thinking of entering the porn industry, you will pay a serious price, not only with STDs, which are rampant, and let me tell you, they're so rampant that the state of California just passed a measure. Measure B, thanks to the ex-porn stars testifying. Last November, they actually put it on the Los Angeles County voters ballot. Imagine the LA County voters when they were like, it's like, hey, who do you vote for? Who's going to clean up the veteran mess? And should the porn stars have condoms? I'm like, oh man, that was hilarious. And Los Angeles County voted that yes, they do need to wear condoms, which is actually already the law. Cal OSHA is the health department that has jurisdiction over the workplace. Every workplace in California, it is illegal for bodily fluids to touch skin, period. In porn, they get to, every bodily fluids. I'm talking blood, feces, semen, urine, vaginal, seminal fluid, everything. That's just normal all over our bodies and in our mouths and everywhere. Why do you have to go to the hospital with a hazardous trash can and gloves and scrubs, and the porn industry doesn't have to do that? That's a California workplace. So I began to contact Cal OSHA and go, hello, what's the law here? And they begin to go, yeah, it is a law. They have to use protection barrier. I'm like, you mean condoms? Yeah, and they have to use goggles, goggles, right? I'm thinking of Google. I'm like, goggles. I'm like, ooh, sounds like sci-fi porn. And God's like, Shelley, I told you how to take this beast down. And He gave me a vision. It was a big all black beast. And I was to stab it in 7 different places until it bleeds to death. And one of those places was the health and safety. I was like, this is too easy. So, of course, we went and testified about all of the illegal work conditions we were subjected to, that there was no Cal OSHA signs in any of the private mansions where most of the films are, made, on a mostly older male set with maybe 2 young 18, 19, 20-year-old girls. They were getting away with murder since the 70s and especially since the 80s. This is the first time the porn industry has ever been held accountable, and I personally want to thank all of you who are courageous and testified, because that measure would never be where it's at without people like you who stood up and testified about the illegal work conditions. And now that measure passed, and now every pornographer has to get not only a health permit, but he has to agree to use condoms on the set, and most importantly, he has to give the address of the location which grants the government access to these sets for the first time since the porn industry has been inducted into the United States. So the porn industry goes, we're going to leave Los Angeles County and go to San Fernando. We're going to go to Arizona. I'm like, you're not going to Arizona, you dingbats, because if you knew the law, you're not even allowed to produce porn there. Don't they read the laws? This is why Pink Cross loves to deliver the laws right to their booths at the porn convention. Hey, Mr. Porn Guy, Mr. Pornographer, you're a sex trafficker, you should probably read the laws, and then here's the safety and health laws and obscenity laws and labor laws. Lots of places to stab the beast. But this was a good stab. We got him good on this one. So now it's really cool. Isidore Hall, which is a representative, a senator in California, he now is making condoms mandated statewide. So personally, and I've been very honest about this even publicly, I want this industry to come down. I'm a strategist. At the same time, if I can protect their health while I'm taking this industry down, I will do that. And at the same time, nobody wants to view porn with condoms. Anyways, so I'm really excited that now we're getting ready to pass it statewide because we've been testifying. In fact, we're going to have to go up there pretty soon again and make our presence known again. But it's really cool. So then what's also cool at the same time is there's 3 sex trafficking bills at the Capitol right now, besides the condom bill. And one of those sex trafficking bills would require that pornographers have to wear wiretapping. So good. I'm like, oh, that's just too beautiful. So we'll be testifying there too. So God is totally moving in a huge, unprecedented way against this industry, and we're finally holding it accountable. After years of lying to all of you, which we will talk about later, about porn addiction, to lying to all these young women, porn destroys. How many people does porn destroy? All of the workers. It destroys families. In fact, pastors say that 40% of the families all struggle with porn or deal with porn. Porn is everywhere. Porn is just down the street. If you just look up, you're going to see a silhouette in someone's car. It's just like everywhere you go. I can't even go to the dentist office without someone talking to me about the porn problem. I'm like, I so have to wear glasses and put on a hat just to go to the grocery store. Let someone go, Shelley, I have this problem with porn. I really need to talk to you. And I'm like, Lord, I'm moving to Haiti. There's got to be a place where there's no porn. The Arctic Circle, something. It's so cold there, though. But anyways, I just want you guys to kind of understand about the industry, that it definitely is sex trafficking. Every woman who's ever been in porn has been coerced to do a sex act she doesn't want to. That is illegal. Every woman has been promised she'll be kept safe by the AIM clinic or other clinics. Or the pornographer says, don't worry, baby. You just get your test every 30 days. You'll be kept safe. Who are you to tell me if I'm going to be kept safe? Over 125 porn stars have died from AIDS since the 80s. Since 2013, there has been 26 suicides that I have personally researched. There has been at least 24 drug-related deaths since 2013. And let me tell you, like William Wilberforce, if you see the movie, when he sleeps at night, those slaves call out to him. Those dead porn stars, they call out to me. In fact, one guy, he committed suicide. His name is Steve Driver, and he committed suicide in June 2010. And he would come to our booth at the porn convention, to the Pink Cross booth. And he would kind of be like, well, laughing like, ha, 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 Pink Cross. But then he would like take our stuff, you know. And you'd think we're not really making a difference, but then his dad called me after his son committed suicide. His son actually stabbed a coworker with a samurai sword on the porn set. This is in my book too, and on my website. And the police chased him, and he jumped off a cliff instead to commit suicide. And his last words was, "This was never supposed to happen this way." And so his dad got a hold of me and said, "I want you to know, Shelley, you and Pink Cross made a big difference in my son's life." Because when the police confiscated his car, there was tons of Pink Cross literature and Bible that had been written in. And I went, that was really cool. So you're seeing these are real people that are dying. I mean, even the music industry doesn't kill porn stars or kill people like the porn industry does. For sure. I did a big study in my book that it was like one person for every 50 porn companies committed suicide or died from homicide or AIDS versus like 1,160 people who did that in the music industry, which is like 10 times larger than the porn industry as far as workers. That's how many people die. I have a lot of those stats. Since 2013, and you can find them on your table, 121 porn stars that we know of have died prematurely, mostly from AIDS, suicide, and homicide, and drug-related deaths. Some of them have died from accidental deaths. I love how they list that. Accidental? You mean when they were drunk driving? Look at all these accidents. I'm like, at 3 a.m, they were drunk driving. You know I did it. And then there's unknown. Obviously, they're very ashamed. And this is just what we know of. How many people have died that, of course, the parents don't want anyone to know? I know some gay porn stars. It's the saddest thing. Their parents wouldn't even bury them. I have 114 pages of research just on their deaths. And these are my friends. And I don't care if they're gay, I don't care what they are, I just know that these are people, and most of them come from terrible backgrounds. And I'm that person too. I come from a background where I was neglected, and I was sexually abused at 9 years old, and I was verbally abused, emotionally abused. In fact, to this day, my parents still don't support the work that I do. But I have a really great daddy. And he's in heaven, and my daddy God is so big and so good. And if he can heal me, I guess my message to all of you is he can kill anybody. And if he can heal all those crazy people over there, those ex-porn stars, and work in their lives, he can heal you who are addicted to pornography or struggling with it. God is so big. So I just want to thank all of you for letting me share a little bit. Next panel will be after lunch, and you're going to hear it right from the mouths of the people who've actually been there. Yeah, and if anyone has any questions, I know I gave you guys a lot of information. You're like, whoa, I know it's heavy. And I want to encourage you, I have a lot of this on my site, and you can get that and kind of soak it up and, Oh, okay, what do we got here? Ooh, questions. We're going to talk about that in the next session. It says, what can a woman do if her man is addicted to porn for 30 years? Pray, and then later on I'll tell you the rest, but definitely pray first. Anoint that bed with oil, pray over it. But I'll go into a little more detail later about actual sexual healing. I'm going to do that the last session, and we'll address that. Around how many women are forced to sexually act on the porn videos? All of them. Next question. I'm dead serious. Jenna Jameson, porn queen. You know the porn queen, right? I love it. I'm so happy. This is such a great, healthy industry. I feel empowered as a woman to make all this sex. Really? Because you have like a battery charge and I believe 2 DUIs that were just recently she lost both her kids. Now, I love you, Jenna, and if you're watching, I'm here for you, baby. But let's not lie to the public anymore, okay? The truth is that even Stormy Daniels, another contract girl, let me explain to you the hierarchy of porn. The porn industry has a facade going on. They have like the first rank. There's about 1% of contract girls who love, they're the face. We love what we do, we love it, this soft porn and blah, blah, blah. And then you have behind them the actual worker bees, which would be the bee actresses, which is us. We're the ones doing all the hardcore, horrific sex acts, but the porn industry is selling the first rank. So the guys are believing, oh, the girls enjoy it, we love this. And I'm like, those contract girls, like with Vivid and Playboy, they only represent about 1% of all of us. And let me tell you about those girls. You need to look at the fruit of their lives. Like Stormy Daniels, big contract girl, with, I believe, Wicked, right? Thank you. And she ran for governor for Louisiana, and I was not happy about that. I'm like, no, girl, you're so not going to be the governor. I'll go over myself, But luckily, I didn't have to do that because she got drunk or something, and she had a big domestic violence fight, and she went to jail. So we have a nice, pretty little mugshot. I love porn star mugshots, which I collect those too. I'm like, wow, you were running for governor, and here you are, domestic violence. Next, Jenna Jameson. Next, Jesse James. We can go on and on with all the contract girls. If you just look closer at their lives, which I provide a lot of that information, you will see all the cocaine, you'll see all the drugs. I've got a couple contract girls that I'm reaching out to right now. I can't say their names, but I will tell you that one of them, it's so crazy. It's such a crazy lifestyle. Or porn parties every night. So I guess one contract girl and another one, they were partying and were doing cocaine, and one of the girls had a heart attack, and the other girl had to give her CPR. And I'm like, how does a porn star know how to give CPR? Saved her life. They were higher than and I'm just like, and that same girl that I'm reaching out to, one of them is really, really special to me. I've been reaching out to her about 5 years. If you're watching, you know who you are. And I actually went to her apartment, which was a complete disaster and a mess. And she had overdosed on 21 Vicodin that she could count. And I have held her in my arms, vomiting over the toilet. And I said, you got to go to the hospital. No, Shelley, you're the only one I trust. I said, you got to go. No. So I got to get my orange juice. I got to get my waters, my fluids. It's like I have to be a doctor to these people because they don't trust anyone else. It's huge amounts of work what we do to reach out to these people who've been so damaged. So don't believe the lie about these girls. All you got to do is research a little bit and you will see the fruit of their lives. Almost no one is married in porn, which, let me make this quick point. I did this yesterday, but it's an important point. If you are a married couple and you're watching pornography to aid your marriage, I want you to understand that most of these people are sexually diseased, physically ill, mentally ill people who are on drugs and alcohol, having sex on camera, and you're getting advice from them for your marriage? No. Me and Garrett will give you some advice sometime. No, you don't want to watch drug. These people aren't even married. Why would anyone get married advice from people who aren't married? Yeah, stop doing that. All right, what do we got? What advice do you have for counselors who come across this addiction? That's a book that Dr. Victor offers at Summit Bible College. What's the name of that book? It's a really good book. I did read it. Sexuality and Relationship Counseling. You guys offer it on the back table, right? Get that book and then take the class and get the credit for it, Summit Bible College is a great college. Garrett and I just recently graduated. I have my doctorate in theology and my master's in Christian counseling, and he has his bachelor in theology and his master's in Christian counseling. So we're very appreciative to the school, and they offer great courses. You can learn what counselors need to know. You have great counselors there that can teach you a lot about this. And also on my site, I offer a lot of information about how do you deal with an addict. That alone is a whole seminar, how to take care of these people. So, okay, what do we got here? What about art nudity? Oh, I love that. That is prevalent. What if you love looking at the nude body but don't care about the sexual side? Is this artistically okay? That's a tough question. That's a really tough question, actually. And we can address it from a secular version or a Christian version. Let me do the Christian version first. Okay, Noah didn't even want his son seeing him naked when he was drunk, so God is so not into that. The only time that people were allowed to be naked together was before the fall, when God had perfection. It was perfect. But after that, God himself put clothes on them. So if God clothes his own people that he made, then no, you don't want to look at nudity. However, on the other hand, I understand there are some beautiful art out there. I've seen it myself, where there's some nudity and everything. And I suppose it would have to be on a case-by-case basis, but I wouldn't say that all nudity is absolutely not beautiful. I've seen some good art. However, it will always be a gateway into wanting to look at something more. So, come on. You see naked people. It's funny, my kids tease me. I'm driving and I'm not paying attention to it, so I'm always thinking about what I'm doing. Mom, there's a naked man. My head just turned. I said, you ding-dongs. It's so funny, because I wouldn't listen. Mom, naked man. Do we all not turn our heads when we hear the word naked? I mean, let's just be honest. So I really feel that although there is some beautiful art out there, but however, if it comes down to it, and I had to do what my God wanted me to do, and I had to do what was best for an over-sexualized, saturated porn society, I would say no nudity, okay? In fact, I say no cleavage. I'm a no cleavage lady. In the summer, maybe when it's 110, you might see me really tired with a tank top going to the store to get some water or something. But normally, like, God had a talk with me when I first started this ministry. You know, your brothers are stumbling right now. Not that I hold all women accountable for your choice to view pornography. At the same time, because we're Christians and we walk in love, we don't want to offend, and we want to help our brothers. And so I really try to work on that as best I can, and I hope other women will too. Why do you believe the church in general has difficulty being transparent about porn and sex? Because it's about porn and sex. Right. But also I feel that they're unequipped to speak, and that's why they should have people like me and other people who are speaking out to come speak and help the congregation. And I can do the whole 9 a.m. service with all the elderly and not use the M word. I can do that at 9, and then at 11:15 I can get more real. So yeah, I mean, it's all about, meeting people where they're at and helping them learn. But every pastor, even if you're viewing it, I don't care if you feel like a hypocrite, be a hypocrite, and let people come to your church who can minister and help this church out of this pandemic. And let me tell you a little something. I'll get into it a little bit later, but I was reading in my Hebrew Bible. I have a Hebrew Bible. And it was really interesting because St. Paul talks about, when they unite themselves with prostitutes, they become one, and that sin is worse than any other sin because you commit it against your own body. I never really understood that scripture. Did you guys? I never really have. So my Hebrew Bible teaches that St. Paul was actually worried that because they had left the body of Christ that they're united with, and they united with the prostitute, that their body would not even be ready for resurrection. It was deep. I was like, what? How deep is this? So the Lord's like, Shelley, there's a window of mercy right now. I want to heal my men. I want to heal my church, my women. This is my heart. But time is short. There's never been a plague like this in all of mankind. And I literally have researched the plagues. Smallpox took out 300 million people in 100 years. Porn is taking out like 72 million people a month. This is a serious plague, and there's freedom from it. You don't have to be stuck there. Does learning about this make people want porn? That's interesting. I do have people go, well, you're talking about porn and your ex-porn stars. It makes me want to watch porn. I'm like, well, for every weird guy who wants to watch porn after he hears me speak, there's about 5 million of you who actually get help. So, we got to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? I try and do it as best I can. I'm not sitting here in a little porn outfit going, hey, I used to do porn. I'm being real, So I'm like, yeah, I have people going, like, usually females or wives. Well, I feel uncomfortable that you're talking about this on your website. You're causing men to stumble. I'm like, well, first of all, I already told you, every man who watches any of our porn is going to get zapped by the Holy Spirit, Ruach HaKodesh. Second of all, most of the people who come to our site mostly men, say, thank you so much. The chains of pornography has been broken on my life. Reading what these women have went through, or what these men have went through, I will never view porn again. Literally at the porn conventions, they're throwing out their porn in the trash can, saying we will never contribute or be part of this industry again. We do not know what we're contributing to, and I apologize. Do you know how many men have apologized to us? And we tell them, you are so forgiven. You're so forgiven. You're so loved. So,
I have one from our listener. I'll check in a little bit too if you're still typing out some questions. But this gentleman says, I believe that awareness will be a huge key to reducing and hopefully ending porn addiction exploitation. His question is, do you foresee, Shelley, increasing awareness across multiple venues to include sex education classes at schools? And I know Shelley has researched how sex education even really came into our school system, and it's so alarming. It would be like a whole nother session why our government and why it was accepted and how the research was done. It's absolutely disgusting. But the question is, do you foresee increasing awareness across multiple venues to include sex education classes at school?
heck yeah. I'll come teach it. Yeah, I don't know if you know Dr. Judith Reisman, my personal mentor, an amazing woman, amazing Jewish woman. It's always the Jewish people. Chutzpah. Like Gail Dines, she's another Jewish woman. Chutzpah. It's because God says, yeah, I'm gonna bring Jews and Christians together, and we're gonna do this. But look her up at drjudithreisman.com, that's DR. She is the foremost expert on why we have this particular sex education in our schools. Now, I would love to be able to go into schools, and I prayed about it for years, and tell the high schoolers, hey, I know what you're doing, you know? Me and you have a talk. And so it's really cool is that God recently got me into Bakersfield Christian High School. It's like the first time an ex-porn star has even spoken in a high school against pornography, let alone a Christian school. That would have to be God. And it was really cool. I did a really hey, let me tell you guys, this is what's going on. I gave them the stats, and they were so quiet that my daughter, a 16-year-old, came up to me. She goes, Mom, it's the first time ever nobody fidgeted or talked or was on their phones. You could hear a pin drop. And I just said, you guys, I know what you're involved in. And I just told them, and many of them came up and were just crying, and they needed prayer. And then I got to do Q&A with the kids and talk about the beauty of sex and marriage, and it was really awesome. So I was like, oh, I want to take this and go to all the high schools. So if any of you has connections, you're a teacher or anything like that, let me know. But yeah, I think I might just send the PowerPoint to all the high schools in California and see what we get, and you guys can come too and help me. I'm not doing this by myself. I got my girls. A bunch of ex-porn stars are going to take over the high schools in California. I love it. That's great. It's great. All right. Do you think that women watch porn because they feel they need to conform to that image? No, I believe that they conform to that image because they watch porn. I believe women watch porn, the main reason is because their partners are asking them to or coercing them to watch porn. And it breaks my heart. It totally breaks my heart to hear that. And then they feel like they have to look like that woman. So what I do is I tell wives who come to me, they're like, you women, you were so gorgeous and perfect, and we could never be like you. And I'm like, no, girl, you got a way better going on than we did. Wives, if you're watching, trust me, you are beautiful, and you have way more than any of us in porn ever had. We became sexually diseased. We were drug addicts, alcoholics. We were abused. We were living in filth. We didn't take care of our kids. We're nothing compared to the wives. So I tell the wives this, hey, don't you let that man tell you you need to do that. Confront your man. And we have resources on our website how to do that too. I want to say go to blazinggrace.org. He has a great article on how a wife should confront her man. And that resource is also available at thepinkcross.org and my site, ShelleyLubben.com. We've got resources for everyone, but I want you to know that definitely the women in porn could never compare to the wives at all. Okay, so we have all these resources for like everything you want. You want to learn about the laws or how porn is, it's not only linked to sex trafficking, it is sex trafficking. If you want to learn about what the girls go through, we have over 25 ex-porn star stories and even stories from some of the male porn stars that were in the industry. So we have that on the site. I mean, I've worked really hard for 9 years to give you the best resources. And my site has been recently updated, and we're now just offering a new part of the site called membership, where people who want healing from pornography, Garrett Ines and other experts are going to be assisting people in that area, and we're actually going to do workshops every month with the ex-porn stars talking about what they went through, because we find that it really helps those who are severely addicted to pornography to actually see our faces, hear our voices, and we humanize the industry, and it helps them to go, I can't contribute to this because I have a daughter and a grandma and an aunt. I'm like, we're real people. We're not a fantasy. We are the reality. And the reality is most of us sitting here, or all of us sitting here who are ex-porn stars, have been severely abused, have STDs that might be long-lasting for a lifetime. We've been abused as children. That is the reality. The fantasy you see on the screen is a lie. It's a huge, huge lie. And if you go to my YouTube, I actually have behind-the-scenes footage of women being sex trafficked in the porn industry. You can see it for your own eyes. I obtained it. I don't want to say stole. I obtained it. I have informants in the porn industry. There's some good people in the porn industry who are like, I'm with you. Here's some behind-the-scenes footage of a movie that they don't show you. So that's called shocking footage, and it's on my YouTube and age-restricted. You can see it with your own eyes, what these girls go to. It is a war zone on the porn set. It's a war zone, and you can see it with your own eyes. So thank you so much, and if you need any resources, I have a book here I'm selling. And Danielle, girl, did you bring your book From Porn to Pulpit? Okay, and mine's called Truth Behind the Fantasy of Porn, and we have Joseph, who's a former gay male porn star, and his book's called Swallowed by Satan. He's deep. And we're all here if you want to answer questions or have, we're here for you, and we really care about you, and we thank you so much for joining us. And the following session, we're going to have the ex-porn star panel. All right.